to the Logcast, Season 2, Episode 48, I believe, this week.
I think that's
I'm your
right.
host. I'm your host, Jephren Perez, and I'm joined, as always, by...
Captain Davy Jones.
Ahoy there,
Ahoy.
matey.
Arr. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Been
Awesome.
snowed in the last 3 days.
Yeah, I know. You people in Oregon don't know how to deal with snow.
They don't. There's no infrastructure set up to deal with this. There's no like plows or salt trucks or whatever.
Yeah, I know. Like, that must be a nightmare. And it's like I had like a foot of snow on my car like last weekend, and it didn't really affect me too much.
No big deal.
Yeah, no big deal. Just gotta brush it off and get out.
We got 2 inches of snow, and it shut down the whole city. There was hundreds, I think, of abandoned cars on all the highways. The nightly commutes were up over like 230 minutes. Like,
That's
it was
insane.
just ridiculous. Yeah. No, it was so stupid.
City
And
really
then-
needs to invest in because it's going to happen eventually. Why not invest in some snowplows and stuff? I don't know.
I don't know. There's a couple, but yeah, not enough to handle the whole city. It was a nightmare this week. Just well, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, snow happens.
Yep.
So
It's really uncommon for here, so I guess that's why they haven't invested. But
yeah, I know.
it's happened twice in the last week.
I know that's when I used to live in Washington, so
Mhm.
it didn't happen much over there. But I remember after I moved away, it started happening, and I'm like, oh, interesting. Well, that's something that seems to be happening more now. Maybe they should start preparing.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, what you gonna do?
What you gonna do? So, anyway, big week for news for us this week.
Oh yeah, that's new Star Wars movie. Oh wait, no, we're not talking about that.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. And,
I'm seeing it in a few hours after
man.
this, and I'm trying to think about things that are not that, but it's really hard.
Yeah. I will say that I've seen mostly positive things about it, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Very excite.
Very.
Very excite.
But no, the big news for us this week, I think the biggest news was out of Platonic. They finally gave us a release date for Ukulele.
April 11th, 2017. So circle your
Yes.
calendars. It's so bizarre. It doesn't seem like that long ago that ukulele became just a thing.
Right.
Yeah, and that's
The
such
project.
a fast turnaround. It's very impressive.
Yeah, for a good 3D platform, well, we don't know that it's good, but I mean, we can assume, to be made in basically 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressive.
I wonder when the rewards are going to start going out for that. I mentioned it's only a few months away. Well, a few. I guess 4.
Oh, excuse me, the backer rewards, yeah. What all did you get with yours?
I believe I'm getting a soundtrack, a T-shirt, and a boxed PC copy of the game.
Very nice.
Mm.
That's
And-
pretty sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, I didn't.
Probably gonna stick with the Xbox digital code, and then just get a
Mhm.
physical. I don't know. Part of me wants to have the physical Xbox copy just to have it, so I haven't made up my mind if I'm gonna switch to physical, because I don't think they've changed. I haven't looked, but I don't remember them announcing that that's now an option to switch to physical. Because I thought they said they were going to make that option.
Yeah, I don't know that they've done it yet, but I think they did say they were going to make that an option for the console releases.
Right. Because
I'm
I'm
not sure.
I'm torn because I know I'm gonna get a physical copy of. Well, actually, that goes into our next bit of news. Maybe
Yeah.
we should talk about that first.
Yes, we should. This is probably the bigger news. I don't know. maybe not,
Yes.
but equally as big news as the release date.
Yeah. The Wii U version has been canceled.
Canceled.
I'm very sorry for you people who only own a Switch and do not have a
Who
computer.
only own a Wii U.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Oh, yeah. Only. I'm sorry.
I don't feel sorry for you who only own a Switch. I want to be your friend and come play it.
Yes. And where did you get one? And why aren't you in jail?
Yeah, exactly.
For who only own a Wii U, yeah. You guys might be a little out of luck because if you don't have computer that can run it, or another console, or are planning to purchase a Nintendo Switch. Because it's coming to Switch!
Yes, they did also announce that
yes.
they're working with Nintendo to try and make a Switch version. We were talking about this before the show, but they worded it as such that they didn't officially confirm it, but said that they're working towards it. So,
and if Nintendo's involved, I'm pretty sure it's coming.
They've got contacts there. I'm sure that they kind of have been in contact with them all along.
Personally, I think they're just keeping mum on it, kind of until after the Switch presentation.
That's probably part of it. But
I wouldn't be surprised if in the Nintendo Switch sizzle reel we see ukulele right in there. So
that would be sweet. That would be really cool. But that was kind of the big news this week. There was not too much new news on Sea of Thieves from Rare, but they did officially start their alpha this weekend. So, for those of you, if any of you who are listening are in that, we hope that you're enjoying it and that it's as fun as it was for me when I played it back in May.
Yep. Congratulations, all you people that I am jealous of.
Yes. Indeed. Congrats.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty exciting thing. It's a pretty big thing for Rare. This is obviously the earliest they've ever let the public play one of their projects, and it's cool that they're really taking the feedback from the crowd to heart and using it, and getting all the data from these sessions to help make the game better. I think it's really cool that they have the opportunity to do it and that they're willing and really into it. Like, they've got a good system set up.
Right. I feel like it's also really unusual for a game to have any type of beta or alpha that the public participates in when there's no release date set yet.
Yeah. No, that's exactly, like, to do it this early, that they don't even know a release date. They don't even know how far away they are from getting it to the state that they want it to put it on sale.
I remember Halo 5 did a really early one, but I think at that point there was at least, like, everyone knew when it was coming out. It was just really in advance. But here it's like, we don't even know for certain when it's coming out. But here you go, guys. Here's an alpha. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the fact that it's an alpha, not a beta, like, it's not even, from what they showed in their YouTube trailer of it, it's there's not much to it. It's the canon battles that they showed off at E3 and Gamescom, and then they added in treasure hunting and a couple other minor things. It's not, doesn't look like it's a full game as much as it is what they're calling it, a technical alpha. So it's pretty cool.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, what was the last thing? Oh, the Nintendo Switch patent dump that was posted online yesterday. A few somewhat juicy-ish things in there, maybe. I mean, they're patents, but I think why people are a little bit more excited about these patents is that they're so incredibly detailed, so they look to be something that, patents of things that are probably, at very least, prototyped. Right. Most of it already was exactly the stuff that we saw in the, in the trailers for it. And just more...
I think
Go ahead.
The big thing... Sorry. I think the big thing is that, like you said, that they are of the Switch and they visually match it, because so many of the other patents that have been filed, especially prior to the announcement, they just looked obscure and weird.
Oh, yeah.
These are the Switch.
Yeah.
And they are variables of it and different controller configurations, which is interesting.
There was that was I think the main new thing in here was, I think the first one I saw was like, I try to describe it, but he's like holding the Joy-Con controller in that kind of unexpected way, almost like it was a weapon, kind of.
Yeah. Kind of like you're holding the handle of a pistol without the, like the barrel of the gun.
So that was interesting. So it's almost
I thought that was cool.
Yeah. Hey, maybe there's which is interesting because the IR pointer is supposedly on the bottom. So.
Right. I'm wondering if it's more like a Wii Motion Plus thing where it can full gyroscope. Kind of like VR controllers.
I believe the patents show some evidence of motion controls in there as well.
Yeah, I think that was confirmed.
I mean, it wasn't. I think it was
legit.
heavily rumored, but there seems to be like a lot of the stuff that was in the rumors seems to be fairly confirmed by these patents. Because like these are really detailed patents. I mean, there's even like a patent for like the part of the Switch dock that clicks into the console itself. This is like all the little tiny mechanical things that actually make it work.
Right.
So, definitely interesting to look at, and there's definitely, even if these things aren't in production, it's obvious that these might be, at least prototyped. And okay, the next thing is the different Joy-Con button configurations.
That was interesting.
That there might be multiple versions of the Joy-Con sold, which I think we all kind of speculated on because with all the virtual console games out there, wouldn't it be kind of cool if you had like different edges to put on your Switch based on what classic game you're participating in? There was only 2 variants shown that we hadn't seen before, and they were basically just putting a physical D-pad on the Joy-Con, but in place of different things. So one of them had the buttons, the standard, buttons missing from the left-hand Joy-Con and replaced with a D-pad. And one kept the buttons, took the analog stick off, and replaced it with a D-pad.
Yeah.
So part of me thinks that probably only one of those will actually be produced, maybe. Maybe they're trying to think of which one would work better for most games. And then they'll
the
be
one with the D-pad and the 4 buttons would most closely resemble a Super Nintendo controller, so it could be for that, virtual console, like you were saying.
Right. Yeah. Just because I think there's going to be demand to have the D-pad right on the Switch for some games, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do offer some kind of, accessory Joy-Con, so that you don't have to, bring the Pro controller with you everywhere you go if you want that.
Right.
So.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if those make it to production or if those are just.
And I would absolutely love to see some Nintendo 64 and GameCube add-ons as well.
That would be cool. Yeah.
There was also 2 different shells besides the infamous dog face shell for the Joy-Cons.
Yeah.
I was slightly confused by them because one of them seems to have them like an angle kind of, and I'm not sure the point of it.
But that one was interesting, and I don't know if that was just to cover all bases or what, but it looked more almost like a PlayStation controller, just the way the 2 Joy-Cons were kind of angled out like a PlayStation controller handles.
So
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, there could be a particular game like that I have that in mind for, because that makes me think of like how the Wii had like the steering wheel for Mario Kart and stuff. There might be certain games that like, hey, maybe a certain shell would be better for this particular game,
or just player preference. Who knows? Just to have the option.
I think the final thing was probably, not sure if this is actually VR or what it is, but it almost looks like the Switch is being placed in some kind of device with eye holes on it.
Yeah, it looked like a Galaxy Gear or a cardboard. Like
this one appeared to be the most abstract out of them, so it makes me think it's less something they're only thinking about.
Exactly. Yeah, I was thinking it's probably something that they investigated, felt that they should patent, even though I don't know how they could patent that because that's
right.
The Galaxy VR is, but
it doesn't contain like all the crazy technical details that most of the other ones done. It's just like
it
looks more like, hey, look, you could put the Switch in a VR device, and that's a thing that we might want to do at some point. Though I'm not sure how well that would work with a 720 screen.
Right, I can't imagine that would work at all because those pixels would be giant. But
well, who knows? Nintendo could be really creative with it. Like I imagine. I don't know, maybe if you had a way to keep it farther away from your eyes.
Or just different lenses that don't zoom it so much. Maybe pass it through a couple lenses so that it is bigger but not. I don't know. Yeah, that wouldn't really work. I don't know.
Nintendo's creative with stuff like that, so I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they might have a way to work it in the future if they're interested. Part of me doesn't think that Switch VR will really be a thing for a while, if ever.
Yeah. I think it would be like a Gen 2 update,
Yeah.
kind of like an Xbox One S or PlayStation Pro. It's
Mm-hmm.
higher specs, higher resolution screen, same system, maybe down the road. I don't know.
Yep.
Seems to be all the rage, and Nintendo has definitely done it with the 3DS, so it's not unheard of for them to do that.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Very interesting.
Will indeed, yes. So
I think that does it
there
for
it
the
is.
news.
Yeah, a little bit longer this week, but we can move on to part 3 of our Perfect Dark Spotlight.
Yeah, this is really kind of took a lot more time than initially thought.
Yeah, I know. I didn't think we'd spend as much time as we did on the levels, but I believe where we last left, we had left the deep sea, and we're moving towards the Carrington Institute defense level.
Yep. I've always often wondered with this level, because it takes place in the same, hub overworld, like which came first. If they did this level, I'm like, hey, we just made the Carrington Institute. Wouldn't it be cool if we walked around? Or if they're like, oh, we made the sub level. We need an extra level in Perfect Dark. Let's turn it into an action level.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. And I've always been curious. And, they probably... My guess is that they did the kind of the UI first, where the single player menus and training level. And then maybe expanded that. Like, kind of had a core small level, and then we're like, well, this would be kind of cool to be able to play in it, so let's make it into a level, and they fleshed it out a little bit.
Yeah, this would be kind of interesting thing to learn, the kind of development of that. If like whatever was more basic because they turned it into a level, it actually got better,
right?
Or but it'll be dependent on which came first. But it's pretty
Stay
cool.
Stay tuned in the future for an interview with someone from the Perfect Dark team.
Yes, next time you're just hanging out at Rare, Jeff, let's see if you can find anyone there.
I'll start asking.
But yeah, I think this is a pretty neat level, especially because you're already familiar with the Carrington Institute from the overworld. And then all of a sudden, there's these Skeetar crashing through the walls, and
yep, I always really love this level, and like you said, because of the familiarity, and I had played through the tutorial a lot before I got this far into the single player mission, so it was a really cool surprise to see, like, oh, you're actually playing in the level and it's under attack. It was really cool.
And you get the RCP-120, which is one of my favorite guns in the game.
Why do 90 when you can do 120?
Yeah.
It's a pretty sweet gun. We'll talk... I don't know if we want to talk a little bit about it right this second or down the road, but...
I don't know. It cloaks you. It's like the RCP-90, except it cloaks. There you go.
Right. Yeah. And to me, I never quite liked it as... I don't like the feel or the sound of it as much as the RCP-90. I feel like the RCP-90 felt like, holy crap, this is a major, powerful, and fast-shooting gun. The RCP-120 is more of like slow and steady, and it has 120 bullets instead of 90.
I think I agree with you. The RCP-90 is my favorite from GoldenEye. Oh, fun fact. RCP, RC Pro-Am, that's what it's from.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, the real gun is the P90. That's the real world gun that it was based off of. It's just called the P90 in real world. But they...
Nice.
Yeah. They was like, hey, we do RC Pro-Am. What if we called it an RC P90?
Classic Rare.
Yeah, so it's kind of a joke.
Cool.
Yeah. A lot of the gun names in GoldenEye were almost like clever jokes.
Yeah. And in this one, I think a little bit, but maybe not as much. These ones are more normal, like Phoenix and stuff.
Yeah, I think a lot of it was because they were not really as heavily based on real weapons like in GoldenEye.
Futuristic. Yeah, that's a good point.
So they could, kind of make jokes on the first one with it.
Yeah.
Like the Clob.
So, yeah, the classic Clob.
Yeah, which is supposed to be the Spider, which was based off a real gun called the Scorpion.
Gotcha.
So
they had to change. Did they change the name, or they just dropped the gun?
No, that's in the game. It's the Clob. But it used to. That's where it's called the Spider. I think it's called. Isn't it called like the Spider in the instruction manual? I believe. Something
referred to it as the Spider. And I spent half of my childhood trying to find it. Allegedly, you could find it in the control level, and no, you can't.
No. Yeah. No. It's literally just the Clob. If you look at the Scorpion gun that it's based off of in real life, it's exactly the same. If you've ever played the Modern Warfare games, you pick up a Scorpion, it looks exactly like a Clob.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. I'd never noticed that, but before Stop and Swap, that was the rare mythical Easter egg that I never found, that I spent my whole summer looking for back in I guess it would have been 98, but yeah.
Line mode, I think, was like the mythical one for me. Do you remember that?
No.
You can actually get it with the push button code. It turns everything into a wireframe.
Oh, interesting.
It was like the missing cheat option that everyone's convinced you could get in the game, and you actually could via one of those crazy long push button codes. And
nice.
Yeah, people did it with like Game Shark for a while, but
sadly, I remember playing it in that mode. I must, because I had a Game Shark, but yeah.
Yeah, sadly, I don't think there's any way outside of a Game Shark to get to the rumored island off the dam.
Right. Yeah, and that never really amounted to anything when people finally got it. It was just kind of a half-built, meant to be in the distance type of thing.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, I remember my friend and I, we spent a lot of time in GoldenEye trying to find all these different Easter eggs, the island and the spider and all that good stuff. But back to Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
Carrington Institute level. So you start off coming in, the Carrington Institute's under attack. I think it starts with a cutscene of Joanna and Daniel Carrington about to head off to, I think it's like a dinner gala with the president or something like that, to be honored for rescuing him.
Yes, you're wearing this big, like, I don't know what the name of this type of dress would be. I'm always terrible at identifying types of dresses.
Yeah, I don't know why. Like
I nearly called it an evening gown, and I realized that's not what that is at all.
No. It's like a full length. I don't know. It's kind of
something.
Which
quick, go wake your wife up.
Replay interviews they said was based on something from Killer Instinct.
Ah, did not know that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And it's got kind of like a dragon on it. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's really cool. It's a really cool outfit. It's like my favorite outfit of Joanna's in the game. I just think it looks cool.
Yep.
Anyway, so you're attacked by the Skadar as they're boarding their ship to go to the dinner or whatever, and I guess they get Carrington or something. I don't know, but Joanna has to jump into action, and so you head up, and you have to go around in the beginning of the mission and just kind of free your coworkers from the Skadar. So you kind of go room to room, and it's like the hostage situation. It's kind of like the frigate in GoldenEye when you gotta go and shoot the bad guy within a second or two, or else they execute the hostage.
Yeah, except now it's all those annoying people in the hub world you wish you could have shot previously, but now you
when
can.
You didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
What's that guy? The guy that Steve Malpass voices. What's his name? The techie, nerdy guy.
Oh, I forgot that he had a name. I know who you're talking about, though. He's really obnoxious.
It doesn't matter. He's the one I always shoot. Yeah, and then kind of that's the first half of the level, and then the second half of the level, the Skadar plant a bomb on something, and you have to basically go defuse it.
And isn't there like a hole kind of in the wall that you can go through? Or am I completely... Isn't that how the Skadar get in? How did the Skadar get in?
They blow the front doors open, and then they kind of just are showing up from everywhere.
I could have sworn that there was like a visual hole in the wall you could see, but I might be wrong. I'll have to play through it again.
Not that I can recall.
Okay, I'm wrong. Yeah. You're right.
Well, probably. I don't know. Possibly.
We'll have to re-look later.
Yeah.
And see.
But yeah, there's as far as the that's kind of the main objectives on Agent, and then or whatever. But then it is Agent, and then Special Agent. They have you reactivating an automatic defense, which is a new objective, and one of the objectives is actually to retrieve the RCP-120. That's in the main objectives, which is cool because you start out with I think you start out with an AR-34, which is again a cool gun. Still, in my opinion, not as cool as the AR-33 from GoldenEye, but it's okay. It's got some good punch to it.
Yeah. Here's one thing I will say about GoldenEye over Perfect Dark, because I do think I do enjoy the guns in GoldenEye better.
Yeah, for the most part, like the ones that have counterparts in Perfect Dark, I like the GoldenEye ones better, but I really like some of the more weird, wacky ones. Like I really like the Farsight and the Phoenix and the Cyclone and stuff.
There is definitely some cool guns. Yeah, don't get me wrong. The gun design is really good in both of them.
Right, and then the secondary feature really adds a lot to this game.
Yeah. I think in some ways I just always prefer more in shooting games, more realistic weapons. But that being said, Perfect Dark does futuristic guns probably better than any other shooter that's tried to do futuristic guns.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like they really understood them and were very creative with kind of naturalistic.
Yeah, because it's like most futuristic guns just seem completely silly. They all look over-designed and don't seem like any bearing in that these would actually exist in reality. Mm-hmm. and that's what I've always hated about futuristic shooters, is that they just you lose something when you go to like these guns that all look like they were created in an art department.
Right.
Yeah. It just they don't seem practical or real. But Perfect Dark does a very good job, I think, of making guns you have never seen before that feels like they could exist. And they only get like really weird with the alien ones. And then the design is so outlandish that they almost seems plausible, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, the closest comparison for me is like Halo.
Yeah, Halo does a good job with that, too.
I like the alien guns in Perfect Dark a lot better than the Halo ones.
Though I am partial to the Needler. I do enjoy the Needler quite a bit.
See, that's one of the ones I was thinking of. It's like, that's just dumb. But it's a cool gun. It's fun to shoot, definitely. But like, as far as like, would an alien race have a gun like that? I doubt it.
Yeah,
Whereas
maybe.
I could totally see an alien race having like a Farsight or the Phoenix or whatever.
That's true.
But
the Maulers are awesome as well.
Yeah.
Dual wielding the Maulers, multiplayer.
And the Reaper.
Yeah. Oh, the Reaper.
Basically a chain gun.
I love it, especially because it's like part like grinder too.
Right. Yeah. That's a cool gun.
Oh man.
So yeah, at the end of this mission, basically the Skadar get Joanna kind of as she's trying to escape, and rather than all of the other missions where when it ends you kind of get the upbeat music, mission completed and all that, it kind of is this like solemn, low-key music, and instead of like the green you pass the mission, it's like gray, agent status unknown. It was kind of alarming to like, oh, I didn't fail the mission, but we don't know what's happened to our main character. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
To kind of take that into the UI and into the menus and stuff.
And then the next level starts.
Not my favorite level.
This level, oh my gosh, I don't even know how many hours I spent trying to beat this level in Perfect Agent. It's
hard.
It is so hard.
It's huge and it's confusing.
Yeah, maybe it would be easy. I'd be curious. I haven't played through this again at the higher difficulty levels on the 360 version, so I'm curious if it would be as hard for me now as it was then. But
yeah, maybe not quite. But
yeah, I remember just going over and over again in this level, and it was like every single thing you had to do perfectly. Like Skadar could like kill you in practically one hit, and you have like you start with like a knife, right?
Yeah, I almost feel like you start unarmed and you have to like go punch them or something.
Yeah.
You start in a jail cell with Cassandra DeVries, who I guess we never named by name, but she's the Datadyne CEO who you kind of interact with in the first couple of missions, kind of your enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So you start in a jail cell with her. She sacrifices herself for Joanna, which I think was very interesting character development, because you would almost think like, oh, why would she do that? But you're on this alien spaceship out in outer space, and this lady has been betrayed by this alien race that she thought was her ally. And so I think she just kind of thinks, I've got nothing to lose. I'm going to die up here. I might as well see if I can help this young lady, bring them down. So she creates a diversion and sacrifices herself so that you can escape and get out of your jail cell, essentially.
Right. Yep. Greater good of the human race.
So yeah, you have to go basically punch one of these Skadar things to death and then get a gun and then kill the other one or two of them in your cell.
I know there was a knife involved.
Yeah, maybe it was like you pick it up.
Because I'm pretty sure that's the only way you can kill it at the higher difficulty levels is to take it out with a knife.
Yeah.
Then you have to be really quick and really good with it though, or it kills you. And then you get from a gun from there. You have I don't even think you have that much ammo in the gun, if I remember right.
Yeah, I remember.
It's like a mauler, and so you're basically you have to make sure that your shots count, and because if they shoot you, you're pretty much screwed. Even hit you once, so you gotta know where every Skadar is. Mm-hmm. Open up a door, already have your crosshairs where it needs to be, and then just blast them with the mauler before they can get off a shot.
Right, and then you head up into like a hangar area, and there's just a crap ton of them up there, and
Oh, yeah.
you're either waiting for Elvis or trying to find him or something like that. And yeah, it's a pain.
It's a pain. But I eventually triumphed. I think I was doing it over and over again for like 2 or 3 hours, but I did eventually prevail on Perfect Agent.
It's a really long level, and it's like you said, it's really difficult. The Skadar take way more bullets to kill, and so so you have to looking through the objectives, you have to disable the shield system, I think, so that Elvis can get in. You have to access the navigation systems so that you know where the coordinates of the planet are, so you can send a distress beacon to the Mayans or something. And then the hardest part is gain control of the bridge.
Yes.
And that's it's like a mini boss battle without bosses, more like a bunch of minions. But after fighting your way through this ship that's full of these creatures, you then have to hold down and defend an area as they send a wave, tons of waves of them at you. And it's pretty tricky, pretty tough.
Yeah, a little bit,
to say the least.
I think there's a little bit of luck involved.
A little bit of luck, yeah.
So I think when I find it took me a long time to get to that point, but I think it was either my second or even maybe my first time that I did do it. But it was like, oh my god, I've just been doing this for hours and hours. I finally made it to the end, and now they're giving me a swarm of guys that I just spent hours meticulously taking out throughout the rest of the level, and now there's like 20 of them coming in.
Yeah.
And it was like, I remember beating it and feel like, oh, I really just got lucky with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's a tough level, and it's very sprawling, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Even though you're inside the ship, it's a lot of levels, going up ramps and stuff, and just it's easy to get lost. So, makes it a little tricky if you don't know your way.
Indeed.
But, yeah, eventually you take the bridge, and so that takes you to the final official level. You land on the Skadar home planet with Elvis, and yeah,
and that's it. That's the final confrontation. I feel like, relatively speaking, this is a pretty short level.
It really is. Yeah, you have a radar thing with these targets you need to mark, and they're random every time you play it.
Yeah.
So
well,
you can't just memorize it.
Random to an extent.
There's 6 of them or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So it's going to be in one of those 6 locations. But yeah.
Right. Or 3 of those 6 locations. I think you have to place 3 trackers. 3. But yeah, it changes pretty much every time you play it. So you can't just memorize this. And this probably is a pain in the ass for speedrunners because they can't just memorize a path.
Mm-hmm. I imagine if you get really good at it, though, you can just look on your radar to see how far the distance
see where the
of
dots
them are, and
yeah.
just immediately know where each one is.
Right.
And
But,
even
so it could be that the 3 farthest ones, or whatever.
Yeah.
You hope it's going to be these specific 3. But yeah.
Right.
You mark them, and then once you mark the 3rd one, the Mayans, allegedly they're bombing them. They really just blow up. There's not any sort of implication that something's shooting it from the sky. But
I honestly
supposed to be happening.
Used to think that they were remote mines when I wasn't paying attention to the story. I thought I was just blowing up things for no reason.
Yeah. What you do find out is that this race of aliens is essentially religious fanatics, because you're basically identifying temple targets.
Interesting. See, you pay so much more attention to the lore than I do, Jeff.
Yeah,
I took it as I'm blowing up things because reasons, and then I'm killing the queen. That's what I got out of the whole level.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, like I said, I was really into this plot as a kid for whatever reason,
right.
and I don't usually like sci-fi alien plots. I don't know why this one stuck out to me, but it did.
Yeah. Oh, it's one of my favorite games of all time, but for whatever reason I never got into the lore. I just love the gameplay aspects of it so much.
Yeah. So yeah, after you blow up the targets, your next objective really is to just go, I guess you have to open, or you have to activate kind of this holographic bridge that gets into their inner sanctum. It's not too hard. It's a little push a little key onto a specific thing in the ground, and then an invisible bridge appears. And then,
sci-fi.
Yeah, very sci-fi. So then you kind of navigate through there. There's a bunch of Skadar, and you then go take out the leader. So, and that's it.
Yeah, well, we'll talk a little bit about the boss battle because it's a little bit unique because you're like, there's like this thing, like crystally thing above the Skadar Queen's head.
It's another one of their kind of religious symbol thingies. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're actually shooting that to break
it.
Bits off that then fall and hurt the Skadar Queen. It's kind of unique, I thought.
Yeah, it was kind of cool because it's like, especially the first time you play it, you just shoot the boss and its shield goes down, and then as soon as its shield reaches like green, because like red being, or I think it's green is the most high, and then when it reaches red, it regenerates, and you just keep doing that, and you think you're doing damage, and you're really not, and then you realize that you have to shoot, like you said, that kind of big symbol thing behind it, and each time you break off kind of like a piece of it, and then like you said, the very final piece impales the leader through the face. So that's pretty sweet.
Yep. And yeah, then that's it.
That's it.
Elvis and Joanna sail off into the sunset holding hands.
More or less. And that's the end of the game, and you get the really cool Perfect Dark theme, the electric guitar from Grant Kirkhope for the credits music. Interestingly enough, the credits in this one were the first time I ever noticed Rare Miami as a place. And at the time, my dad lived in Miami, and I used to go visit every summer. And so I like looked up where Rare Miami was, and like was trying to figure out how to go visit it and see if there was like internship opportunities. Like I was really looking into it at the time. These are the Joel Hochberg and his family, I guess, ran it. They had kind of partnered with the Stampers. They're the ones that kind of put out and produced the arcade machines.
Okay.
They were arcade gurus themselves.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, but unfortunately, they kind of shut down right after the buyout. So like, Perfect Dark came out in 2000. The buyout was in 2002. So by 2003, they were already either shut down or shutting down. So it was I graduated high school in 2004. So I never really had an opportunity to go meet them or anything, unfortunately, because their office wasn't really that far from my dad's house. It was just down the highway, so it's too bad.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
Missed an opportunity to be really
creepy or ambitious, depends on how you look at it.
Yeah, one man's stalker is another man's ambitious person.
Hey, I kept at it for another 15 years and eventually got to go visit the real headquarters. So I guess it paid off in some way.
There you go. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Rare Fanatic.
Rare Fanatic. That is my moniker.
Very appropriate Twitter handle.
Yeah.
So we can touch briefly on the secret levels.
Yeah, so after you beat all the missions, you unlock a series of secret level up to 4 of them. Yep. And the first one is called Mr. Blonde's Revenge, and it's sort of a side mission of the Datadyne thing with Cassandra, and basically this is what happens right before the Carrington, or it's like probably what's happening at the exact same time as the Carrington Institute level, plot-wise. So it's all these Mr. Blonde characters are just Skadar troops in humanoid form.
Human skin.
Yeah, basically. And you play as Mr. Blonde, basically to go and kidnap Cassandra DeVries from Datadyne and take her to her prison cell. Yep. Where she meets up with Joanna. So it
ties together.
Yeah, takes place in the first level, but you start in the lobby and basically massacre your way up to the top rather than being dropped at the top and working your way down. So pretty cool, fun mission, cool take to play as a bad guy. And yeah, that's about it. I'm sure there must be harder objectives. I've only ever played it, I think, on regular. Let's see. Locate and escort Cassandra to helipad. Plant explosive in lab. Locate, escort Cassandra. plant explosive, eliminate captain, and locate. Okay, yeah, so they just add in a couple different extra objectives.
Right. Yep.
Cool.
And then Mayan SOS. I don't remember this one nearly as much, but I remember you do play as Elvis.
Yeah, I don't remember this one at all.
Because you never got to it.
Yeah, that must be it. Well.
Okay, so this looks like it takes place. I know it takes place in the G5 building, but I can't remember, story-wise why you're playing as Elvis.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't take place in the G5. This takes place in Area 51, based on the screenshots I'm looking at. Yeah, I guess you play as Elvis, so this must be what's happening while Joanna's in the G5 building.
Oh, okay.
My guess is this is like after Elvis crash lands in Area 51, he might like wake up and kind of wreak havoc in the lab area. So this is kind of the second half of the Area 51 levels. The second and third level take place in this area. Your objectives: sabotage enemy medical, activate a distress signal. That's the one that leads Joanna to you. And then destroy the saucer. That's weird. I thought that the saucer was fine from later on.
I don't know. I've never beat that level in anything higher than Agent. Like, that was where I was stuck.
Gotcha.
I tried numerous times to beat it, even on just Secret or Special Agent, and I never could do it.
Yeah.
I did manage to unlock it, and as well as unlock the next level you get for completing the whole game on Perfect Agent. Which is War.
Aha.
Yeah, and this is pretty much you kill the bunch of Skeeter Kings in a row. Higher difficulty levels, I believe you kill more of them.
Yeah, it's 2 on Special and 3 on Perfect.
So that's basically you're just I can't remember if you're Elvis or if you're just a random Mayan, but you're basically have a whole bunch of Mayans at your back. I think they keep regenerating too, and you have to fight your way through to get the Skeeter Kings, and there's a whole bunch of Skeeters that keep regenerating.
Gotcha.
You just gotta keep trying to push forward, and it is really hard on higher difficulty levels.
Looks like it, yeah.
Another one I have.
Be plot-wise right before Joanna gets there, and she kills like the final 4th king. I guess it's weird that there's multiple. Well, I guess it's not that weird. There's multiple kings. There was multiple kings on the planet Earth, so. If we're comparing the Skedar to a cult, it'd be kind of like just lower, like the final king being the leader, and then these ones being like lieutenants. So makes sense.
And the only other secret mission is the duel, which you get by completing all the Carrington Institute training scenarios. Okay,
that's why I had this one. Yeah, I definitely got this one and beat this one on. I think, I did beat it on Perfect Agent, because the first one all you got to do is beat a Datadyne guard, and then then Jonathan, which is weird.
An interesting level.
You are in the virtual training lab within the Carrington Institute, the one where you kind of do some of the movement training. And you need to beat a Datadyne guard, then Jonathan Dark, and then Trent Easton, one of the bad guys in the game. So, you have different weapons? No, or you just have your pistol, but you start in different locations, I think might be it.
Yep. I don't remember, but I don't remember this one being like insanely hard like the other ones.
Yeah. the last one, the last one's a little tricky, but it's not undoable. So. Yeah, so that's all the single player levels, and we've got about 15 minutes to kind of discuss multiplayer and anything else.
Yes, because we are not doing a part 4. I'm sorry.
Yeah, there's no reason to. The combat simulator is what they called the multiplayer, which is a cool way to do it, because then you're basically saying, oh yeah, this is all VR, and you're not actually killing these people, and you're not actually killing the agents and the aliens and stuff. It's all a simulator. But then it also lets you set up and customize like no tomorrow.
Oh my gosh, still the best.
So many options.
Local multiplayer, I think, probably ever. I mean, Time Splitters comes close with its amount of options, but I just don't even think that cuts quite as close as what Perfect Dark does with a local multiplayer setup.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It really is.
Specify every single weapon that appears in the level.
Yeah, by
swap,
location.
create an army of bots, give each one distinct difficulty levels and personalities, and then define
AI.
what each bot looks like.
Right, with body, and then you can choose the head separately. I mean, it was absolutely insane, the amount of options. And then it wasn't just like, kill and the GoldenEye had a few options as far as like license to kill and stuff like that, but this one had like one hit kill, slow motion, fast movement, display. No, that's the option. Sorry. The oh no, these are mobile hill, king of the hill, pop a cap, hacker central, hold the briefcase, regular combat. Those are the options. And it was insane. Lots of levels, including 3 from GoldenEye that were retextured.
The best 3.
The best 3, yeah, basically.
Complex, temple, and facility.
Yep.
Such good levels.
Yep. Facility is my go-to.
I was kind of sad they didn't they brought these two of those levels, temple and facility, into Perfect Dark Zero, but they never did complex, which I thought was sad because I love complex. It might actually be my favorite of the 3.
I'm gonna have to play more Perfect Dark Zero. That's how little I've played a Perfect Dark Zero.
Yeah, no. Facility and temple are in multiplayer. It was originally added as a DLC pack, but it's the Platinum Hits version of the 360. Version included them, and the Rare Replay version has them as well.
Yeah, all the Rare Replay versions of all the games included all the DLC for all of them. So, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, there's not much more to talk about than that. That there was just so many options and scenarios that you could kind of create or do.
I mean, I'm sure we could
you
go
play by yourself.
Yeah,
that was really cool.
If we had more time, we could probably talk about personal memories, but I don't think we have really enough time to even get started on that.
I mean, I can real quick do one was just going to different levels and using the is it the Slayer, the one where you could like remote fly a rocket like in first person, fly by wire.
Right.
And so I used to go and explore the levels using that, and you could kind of clip through the higher parts of levels that didn't have ceilings, and it was really cool, and I got really, really good at doing that.
Yeah, I ended up playing it a lot with either by myself or just me and my brother, because I didn't really have friends, so didn't do much 4-player. But I had so much fun with the bot settings, and I used to love to I can't. Oh, could you name the bots? I can't remember if you could. I don't think you could. Could you?
No. They like based on the AI they had gave them the name.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But I remember what I did was that I would try to assemble head and body combinations that like actually resembled like either real or fictional characters, and come up with like different teams. Like,
nice.
Like I had one that was like Nintendo versus Sega. I think I had one that was like Republicans versus Democrats. I did like all these little rivalries with different bot sets.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Teams is another thing that was.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You could kind of group them by color, like the red team, blue team, yellow team.
Yeah, so I had at some points I had like 4 different teams, because I think I had attempted to do one for like Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sega when I was really excited about GameCube.
Console war.
Yeah, I did that. I was really into the console wars. I even did a really this is not Perfect Dark related, but to show how much of a nerd I was back then. You probably never played the Heroes of Might and Magic computer games, but
no,
I did my own custom console wars scenario, and I spent hours working on it, and had all the heroes be named after different figures from different consoles, and the cities were named after the consoles. So you'd go assault the Dreamcast city and have to battle like Sonic and stuff. Yeah, I had a problem, but probably still do. But yeah, good times.
That's awesome. So I don't know. We can kind of maybe just touch on some of the weapons that we really liked. We don't have to go through all of them. But I don't know.
Dual Maulers and AR-34, I think, my go-to.
Okay.
Yeah, I love those a lot.
I mean, I use the Farsight a lot, but it's kind of cheap in multiplayer.
Yeah, we didn't. I think most times I played it, I only put the Farsight on very rarely, because it makes the game pretty crazy.
Yeah, I loved putting it in like the facility and going to that room that's at the very end of the like scientist labs.
Mm-hmm.
If you just stay there, like the AI will never get to you. Like,
Right.
because as long as you got the far sight, like if they're coming down the corridor towards you in the nearest one, like it's just a straight shot. So it the X-ray gun that shoots through walls. In case you haven't played or didn't hear us talk about it last episode. No, my go-to was often the laptop gun, just because it could be deployed as a remote sentry gun.
Mm-hmm.
Just such a cool feature. But like I would kind of set it up in a corner, or I'd get in a corner and set it up to kind of defend my location, and it was highly effective. Unfortunately, it would run out of ammo. So what you do is deploy it and then try to collect more of the ammo, and then once it ran out, you could pick it back up and redeploy it, and it would have full ammo again. So I would do that.
That was a fun gun too. I had a lot of fun with proximity mines as well.
Yeah, always like proximity remote and whatever, like those
grenades. Everyone just did bouncy grenades.
Yes, bouncy grenades was a thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Secondary function of the grenades, they would just bounce around like. Choo, choo, choo. That was fun, man. To get in like a big open arena and just everybody have bouncy grenades. The nuke too was a weird one because it wouldn't really kill you; it would just make you like visually seasick, basically. Like, and it was a really cool effect when it went off. So me and my friends would do like nukes and bouncy grenades, or nukes and slappers or whatever. But it was it was pretty
so
fun.
Much fun. So many combinations. It's just like
they
knew how to make local multiplayer the most fun experience they could.
Yeah.
And sadly, that's something we don't really have as much anymore because we've kind of gone away from that. In some ways, I do kind of understand it because it's like I try to think of how often there's actually people over at my house to play local multiplayer with.
Right.
And, the changed world we were in.
I miss all the options because you think of like the more popular online shooters right now, which I guess Halo still lets you do some of this customization, or maybe more at this point. I'm not sure. I haven't played it in a while, the newer ones. But like Call of Duty being the de facto one, you choose your loadout for you, and you kind of get one or two guns to always have with you.
Right.
But, which if you think about it, it's like, when you're playing Perfect Dark, you'd probably go and find your favorite gun and just use that. But to kind of have the pickup locations and everybody kind of starts unarmed, and a lot of different things really change the feel of how the multiplayer is. And I would love to play a modern Perfect Dark, which maybe that's what Halo 5 is, and I just need to pick that up. But
not so much.
No? Okay.
Halo 5 doesn't even have split screen.
Well, okay, not local multiplayer, but the customizable multiplayer.
I mean, there's some stuff. I don't think it's as much as I haven't really played with it, the customized stuff that much.
Okay.
But to me, like the customizing stuff is what you do when you have people over, and you can't even do that. Even if you can do custom games, it's like you gotta make a custom game, then invite all your online friends into the party. That's
a bummer. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's I don't know, not quite the same experience.
I miss the old days, but
I think there needs to be like a better way to sort of merge the old system into the new online system.
Yeah, I wish.
Problem is just because of because everyone's so obsessed with XP and progression and stuff in their games, is that no one's gonna play custom. But so I always wish there was a way to make it so it's like every match is a custom match. Like say the winner or the match or something gets to like set the rules, and but still all match made.
Yeah.
Not just everyone be obsessed with their kill death ratio as much as they are now.
Right.
Maybe not even track that so people don't obsess over it.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, you should always track it, but I agree. I would love to see Dam Buster make a modern take on their old style of game of the Time Splitters and the Golden Eyes.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure what the hell happened with that latest release, but it was kind of a mess from what I heard.
I've heard it's gotten better. Homefront the Revolution.
Thank you.
I still want to pick it up after, because we still technically cover it, and I know the patches have supposedly done wonders.
Yeah, we should.
I know a lot of the complaints was that it was the technical issues, and there's still Time Splitters levels inside of it in arcade machines, which makes me happy.
That's cool. I think it's on clearance because it didn't sell well, so I'll pick it up.
Yeah, and I think now, hopefully, maybe they'll get Dam Buster will actually be able to do something.
Yeah, I would
not
like to see
Homefront,
them kind of...
or helping make the multiplayer component to Crysis, which is like all they've been doing lately.
Yeah.
And Homefront was like their first game they made themselves entirely since like Haze back in like 2006.
Right.
So now I'm hoping that maybe they'll get to create their own thing and not use like an IP that's been shoved on top of them.
Right. That would be cool. I hope so. But yeah, I think we've kind of covered everything major from Perfect Dark.
Yep.
We definitely haven't gone into every little nook and cranny, but I don't think that that's necessary. We covered
we're on
the
3
important
parts.
stuff.
We're good.
Yeah. So, anything else that you have to add?
I don't think so. I think I'm good. I really want to see Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's what I have to add.
Make sure you're well rested. It sounds like you're
well rested, and I'm trying to cram the prequel. I haven't finished the prequel novel yet. I'm trying to cram through it right before we go. I should be able to make it, but it's going to be close. I got up early and I've been reading since I got up. I need to have all the information going in.
Yeah, I don't want to cut it too close.
Yeah. Well, I have like a... Well, it's I'm seeing it at 3:15, and I gotta leave probably since the roads are still a little iffy. It takes about 35 minutes to get there, so maybe I want to leave like at least 45 minutes before the showtime.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Okay. So I got a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours probably before I have to start thinking about that. So.
Well, cool. I'm jealous. I really want to go see it. I just haven't been able to.
Yeah.
Find
a way. Yeah. Sell your kidney.
Cool. I have no idea what the rest of my day is. I gotta go take a car into the shop. So.
Awesome.
Yay.
While your car's being repaired, you can go see Rogue One.
Yeah. I'm sure everything's sold out, I'm sure.
That's why you just assault someone outside the theater and take their tickets.
Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Alrighty. Well, okay. Thanks, everybody, for tuning into the Perfect Dark Spotlight series.
Yep.
Hopefully you made it through all 3.
Yep. I hope you're still here and think we're not really boring. So, yeah. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, everybody.
Bye.